What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're looking at palmistry. We're going to learn how to read the lines on the palm and sort of the whole spiritual pseudoscience behind it all. So let's get into it. Before I do, just the most meta thing ever. As I'm filming this, I'm also uploading a video. So there you go. The one that came out just before this one, in fact. Alright, so when analysing your hand, a palm reader will look at three basic areas known as lines, mounts, and shapes. There are four major lines, being the heart, head, and lifeline. The fourth is the fate line, which is sometimes broken, faded, or even missing altogether. And it is generally a line that goes straight down, sort of thing. I think so to generally tell where it should be. Yeah, mine's very shallow, but it's just here. And it sort of goes the whole way up, sort of deal. Don't worry if you struggle to locate your fate line or any other important lines. For palmistry practitioners, missing or fragmented lines simply provide more insight. To get started, explore the major lines and some of the better known minor lines, comparing your own palm to the images provided. And there are images on the Learn Religions page provided. That link is of course in the description down below. So the first one is this one at the top here of your hand. It is the heart line. It runs horizontally across the upper part of your palm. Now it has different meanings depending on its length, its depth, whether it's straight, whether it curves. You can see that mine sort of goes across and curves up into my knuckles, sort of thing. Yours might just sort of go straight across to here, sort of thing. It might only be 3/4 that length. You might have a deeper line than I have. It could be broken, it could be chained, which I'm assuming just means a whole series of little lines creating the line. It could be forked, so be both straight and curved at the end, or it could just be missing, like any line could be. And so depending on any of those factors depends on the interpretation. For this one, a long line means that you're idealistic and kind of dependent on the partner, or you know, on your partner, sort of thing. A short line could mean that you're self-centered. A deep line could mean that you are, you know, kind of a stress head. Faint line means you have a sensitive nature, or even a weak heart. I'm kind of glad that mine's a little bit faint. I don't know if I could deal with having anxiety and a stressful personality. Nope. A straight line means you have intense feelings. For the most part, it's kind of straight, but when you really look at it, it is actually quite curved. So a curved line is more intellectual bent. I do try to use my brain more often than my heart. A broken line can indicate troubled relationships. A chained line could mean intertwined relationships or karmic relationships. A forked line could foretell heartbreak, whether that's a really big one once in your life or just a series of failed relationships. It could also foretell divorce, and if it's missing, it foretells that you are ruthless and that logic rules the heart. There are no inputs from your emotions at all. The headline headline is our next one down. It is this one. Again, same things. Length, its depth, whether it's straight or broken, chained, forked. It doesn't have a curved one here for some reason. I've just noticed it does not have a thing for if it's curved. So if it's curved, I don't know. But a long line tells that you are ambitious. A short line can tell that you're intelligent and intuitive. I don't know. Like, it could go further, sort of thing, but it could also be shorter. I don't know what mine is. Yeah, that's really weird. So, deep line is excellent memory. A faint line is poor memory. Mine is quite deep here, and then you get to sort of here, and it does continue going quite faintly. So I wonder if that means that I will, later in life, I wonder if that means that my memory will fade. That's fun to look forward to. A straight line is materialistic. A broken line foretells disappointment. A chained line shows mental confusion. Forked line indicates a career change at some point in your life. A double line means you are talented or inspired by a muse. Don't think I have a double line. Damn. And an absent line could just show that you are lazy or have a mental imbalance. The third one is this one that sort of curves around the thumb. It is the lifeline. So it begins somewhere between your don't know what that was. But it begins somewhere between your thumb and your index finger and runs toward the wrist. It is generally curved. So you're not going to find, they don't have a straight line or a curved line answer in this one. So a long line foretells good health and vitality, and mine goes pretty much all the way to my wrist. Short line. It is a myth that a short line means a short life. If the line is short, look closer to the other signs, whether it's broken, deep, faint, etc. A deep line foretells a smooth life, relatively little in your way on like a cosmic scale of injustice. A faint line could show that you have low energy. A broken line foretells struggles and losses. A chained line shows that your life path will be multifold. You'll have multiple walks of life that you are on. So you may be pursuing something in a more sort of physical, materialistic goal, but also chasing a deeper spiritual need, and you may end up being able to walk both without having to choose one over the other, which would be really cool. A forked line has different meanings depending on the placement on the hand. Generally, it indicates a diversion or a life change, although it can also mean scattered or split energies. A double line means that you will end up partnering with your soulmate, or that another person nearby, such as a family member or a friend, will serve as a guardian or caregiver. And an absent line just shows that you're anxious and nervous, which means that it's really surprising that I actually have one. I think looking at that, this one's probably my deepest. So I would probably go, based on that, I'd probably go with the deep line. Excellent memory for the headline. I already knew this though. I have a near eidetic memory when it's not being affected by epilepsy medication. Alright, so the fate line is often depicted as a straight line that splits the palm into sections. It is not uncommon to have an arched or curved fate line. This line may look more like a garden path than a direct highway. Neither is better. It is generally placed right. Let's see if I can find it again for you guys. So I've got a really faint one just here. So it should also end sort of in between the corner of your palm and your thumb, and it will go straight up. Mine's like slightly curved. Where it meets my headline, we get this crazy little change that just goes straight out. Kind of makes my headline look like it's forked. It's just my fate line. But then it sort of continues up. You can't tell. It gets really faint by the end. But basically it goes all the way up here, my fate line. And now that I've pointed that out, you can kind of see the two sides that it would split my hand into. So a straight line can indicate a focused life plan, whereas a twisted or wavering line could indicate the path of someone who spent time exploring or searching for the best fitting path to undertake. That was me. Sort of an ultimate goal at the end that I wanted to get to, professionally speaking. But there was a lot of time spent going, okay, well I need to make money now so I can try and put this plan into effect. You know, it being a long-term plan. And yeah, there was always this sort of, you know, well, if I did this, I could earn money while I'm doing that, put myself through uni, and then try and use this and that to maybe work as, like with the PT stuff, if I'd been able to finish that, the goal was to try and follow that into doing like stunt choreography and that sort of thing, and work that way. Work my way up the chain of the film industry that way, but here we are. So, an absent line could indicate that you have a pre-planned life. Fate exists for you. A deep line means that you may have some sort of like special inheritance. A faint line, yay, indicates failures and disappointments. I'm going to be trying to work in the film industry. What else is new? A forked line could indicate conflict or a dual destiny. A jagged line indicates struggles and indecisiveness. Mine's not jagged, so the only struggles and indecisiveness I have is being a Libra. A broken line could indicate trauma or difficult circumstances, and a chained line just shows that you're going to have some extreme highs and lows. The fame line gives light to a person's fate or destiny, indicating brilliance or artistic ability that enhances life purpose. This line is not always present. If it is, where's that coming from? I do or I don't have one. I can't tell. It should come sort of down from here. It should end up sort of going slightly parallel to your fate line. Alright. And then there's your love lines. These are short horizontal lines found at the side of the hand underneath the pinky. Now, where did I see these? Okay, yeah. So they should be, if the camera's going to pick it up, I've got one just here above my hand, above my finger, very short one on the side. They should all end up being on this knuckle, sort of just on the side here. I have one, I don't know if it's easier to see it on this hand or not. Yeah, there it is. How many love lines do you have in your hand? Multiple love lines indicates the number of significant relationships you have had or will have in your lifetime. Sometimes it's easier to see these lines if you bend your pinky slightly towards the palm to see how many creases it makes on the side. So when I do that, we can now see that I've got one major one and one sort of down here. I can see three. There's sort of this one here, one in the middle, and then at the top there. The appearance of the individual lines, for example, the troubled relationship will often be reflected as a fragmented, jagged, or wavering line. A love line that's forked could indicate a parting of ways through divorce or separation. A deeper groove is usually a solid sign of a strong, lasting bond. Smaller or faint lines branching off a love line are the offspring born out of a relationship. These children lines are not as easy to see because they are smaller and often faint lines branching off the love line. The spacing between two love lines can also tell a story. Spaces may indicate the span of time that lapses between relationships. A wider gap could indicate several years, while a narrow space could indicate less time between loves. For example, let's say that a young couple marries, but their partnership ends in divorce within 2 years. The man remarries within a few months, but the woman remains single for 8 years before she gets involved in another relationship. If you would look at their individual palms, it's likely you would find two love lines butting up to one another on the man's hand, but the woman will likely have an 1/8 to a 1/4 inch space between two love lines on her hand. Your love lines map significant heart connections or karmic relationships. Keep in mind that palmistry does not distinguish between a legal marriage, a common law marriage, or a love affair. Marriages of convenience will likely not get mapped onto the palm at all. In other words, a loveless marriage or less than significant partnership will not show up as a love line on the hand. So it's not saying that you're only going to have that many relationships in your life, because I haven't. And there are some that I would consider to be significant relationships that I don't think my hand is counting as significant relationships. So it's exciting for the future. A little bit more on children lines is then underneath that section. But let's look at a new line, the intuition line. This one sort of sits in here generally. I don't think have one on either hand. Instead, I've just got a whole bunch of really little ones that kind of, I don't know, to me, they look like they're mapping the individual fibers of the muscle underneath. But intuition lines generally shadow the lifeline because intuition indicates keen insight into one's life. Basic intuition line meanings, it doesn't have a list for us. Right, so the more prominent this line appears, the stronger the indication that psychic ability is a dominant characteristic for the person. Intuition lines are not the easiest to detect and may be absent entirely. Which, I don't know if having one is a good thing or not, because it does specify psychic ability. I have more of an empathic ability with people, and I don't know if you can have both. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing for me. The next one is another going this way, and it's actually supposed to be like right over the side here. It's supposed to be the health line. A degree of health challenges, the degree of health challenges during your lifetime is indicated by the strength or weakness of this line. In addition to the physical health of a person, the health of one's finances can be reflected in the health line. This is not surprising when you consider the diet and lifestyle of a poor person would likely be lacking as they do not have access to the health resources that wealthy people have. Stress of any kind is a major factor in one's health. So breaks in that line, monetary concerns or losses, if it crisscrosses quite a bit, possible accidents. It might show you clumsiness, or that you're ungrounded. If there's little circles in it, those specify hospital, like significant hospital visits, like surgery. If it's wavering or jagged, you might have multiple health concerns. If it's forked, that sort of indicates the potential for a chronic or debilitating disease or illness. An absent health line usually indicates that health is not an issue, so it's really a line that you prefer not to have. Alright, the next one is we're going to talk about our bracelets, which are the lines on our wrist. Placements are the line, the bracelets are the lines at the bend of your inner wrist. So when you sort of tilt your head, your hand forward, these ones, it's the double chin of the hand. So it's common to have 2 or 3 bracelets, which I have, if we're going all the way down to like here, don't know if you can see it, here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one sort of stops in the middle though. Got one curving over, the one that stops in the middle, one curves under, and then 2 more on my actual arm itself. So although some people only have, so it's common for 2 or 3, some people only have 1, and having 4 or more is possible. More bracelets indicates a longer life. Broken bracelets indicate ill health or lowering of chi energies. That's that one. That's indicating this shit. Cool. Right, I've got 5, so it indicates longer life. I ended up having my epilepsy after I turned 20. So these all counting in spaces of 20. That'd be cool. 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, 80 to 100. That's how I'm gonna look at it. Travel lines may indicate travel or simply a desire to travel. These are generally in this corner of the hand. I don't have any on the palm of my hand, but I do have some on like the side, remembering that looking at the side is allowed. So I've got a couple little ones. Now that I'm looking at it, it's like a little one here on my palm, a little one there. Interesting stuff. And I have travelled internationally once already. I'd love to again. Lots of plans to do so. So hopefully that's a thing we can actually make happen in my lifetime. And then the last one is the Girdle of Venus, which generally swings between here and here. It just sort of, it's not supposed to, if your heart line is a straight one, and it should sort of stop about here before it goes onto your knuckle, which makes sense. The Girdle of Venus should just sort of sit up the top here. I'm flexing my fingers back a little bit so you can actually see the space. But yeah, so it should be from between the index and the forefinger, those are the same thing anyway, to in between the pinky and the ring. The shape of the Girdle of Venus is similar to a crescent moon hanging over the heart. So look, I don't, yeah. I'll show you why I don't have one in a second. So it's similar to a crescent moon hanging over the heart line. This palm line configuration intenses the emotions, which is good. We do not need my emotions being intensified. We do not need them. It appears on the hands of individuals who tend to be ultra sensitive. Symbolically, it can indicate a need for shielding or creating emotional boundaries. Now, it should be the fact that when you do this, you'll normally get like you can see where it would go for me if I had it, but this hand. Doing it for, yeah, in here. I'm getting this like really intense, weird looking. It's not doing it on this hand, but yeah, it should be when you bend those fingers to like throw that up at a concert. It should be the palm line that leaves. But that's it. That's all that this has to say on the subject anyway. But there's a whole bunch more that you can look into on long religions when it comes to palmistry. I will leave that link again in the description down below. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button wherever it is. And while you're there, ring the notification bell as well. It will turn on the post notifications so that you will be alerted when I upload a new video. Doing both of those things will make me very, very happy, and I will appreciate it a lot. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, and until next time guys, keep your head screwed on.